Have you got some time to chat?
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have questions for me? Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors. Yes, that was me. Although, tricked is a stretch. He insisted that nothing was off the table.
So you framed Cyrus for a crime that he—
No. That's not entirely true. Let me jog your memory. The letter just said that he had uncovered Cyrus's secret. It didn't— Of course. Uraka was a great—
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert as—
You'll have to ask him that one yourself. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem. What kind of question is that?
Right, but back at the Oasis, you can't have known who he was for sure.
I've lived in the desert my whole life. Guess you could say I've never had the pleasure.
Ugh, why does Paimon feel like this guy's not being straight with us?
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers— Nope, not once.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Besides, spies? It's not as clandestine as that. The city gate? Mm-hmm. Ah, here he is. Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the...
Professor!
Cyrus, are you okay?
Ah!
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus owes me his life, and to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude. I let him go a long time.
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag of bones before you caught up with me. Just leave, Cyno. This is a matter between us.
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter.
Some things in life catch up with you, no matter what.
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason he did. To rescue you. We'd appreciate you telling us the truth. Otherwise, it seems a little unfair on everyone who had to stay behind.
My secrets are secret for good reason. Bringing them to light can only lead to misfortune.
You're afraid, aren't you? You can't bring yourself to speak of your past deeds. You recognized our emblem because for many years, you lived among us. You knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, and joined us in our mission to revive the might of Hermanubis, but then you betrayed us. You bargained for your independence with your past contributions, and then you left, taking with you Hermanubis' might and the wielder of his power. We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
You really know how to hold a grudge.
Hermanubis' might?
Does he mean you?
Professor, anything to say?
The moon is right. I came here once before. He rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When he learned that I was a scholar, he invited me to come here and revive the might of Hermanubis together. It was a great, daring plan. one shrouded in secrecy. Bamoon proposed that we implant bar fragments, shards of Herbanubis, and many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But we soon discovered that the bodies of grown adults, one other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of 2 Ba fragments from Hermanubis. As remnants of his raw power, they were exceedingly rare treasures. The test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony, and instructed to approach the Ba fragments, whose power had been... The original plan was for a 3-stage experiment. Resonance, As the second stage began, I realized a decision had to be made. Should we implant the fragments one at a time? This would allow us to... But as I was deliberating, both Ba fragments suddenly became active. They glowed with a light we had never seen before. Our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragment. To preserve our faith and our power, we implanted each of them with a single fragment.
Ultimately, I ended the experiment and left.
In recognition of your past contributions, I chose not to send someone to hunt down and kill you both. Your lives were spared. I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing you and your Ba fragment dealt us a devastating blow. We've been in decline ever since you left.
I see. So that's how I gained my power.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your Ba fragment for a decade or so. And now you are seeking justice. But you cannot lift a finger against Cyno. He is the General Mahab...
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You were so young then, when we all gathered around and celebrated the revival of our Lord. You and he, Sethos, you were our final hope.
You'd like me to return my power?
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim it.
That power is not yours to reclaim.
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one. My child, Sethos, has the same gift as he.
So those are your terms for freeing the Professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an
So what you're saying is, the power of 1 Ba fragment is not enough? You're asking me to return...
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield.
He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this bird...
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are proposing...
Don't listen to him.
I know. But if this is a question...
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of... Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your...
Wait. Those ears. So... we have a descendant of the Valukashuna in our midst. Splendid! Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we'll...
Why is he coughing so much?
Moon, you...
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know what you wish to... I don't like to drag out conversations, so I'll just cut to the chase. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely have been a success. Still, it's no use talking about... I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill, but I see things a little differently. I don't believe the Temple has the same stature, so I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave, except for Cyrus.
You have courage. And things will only continue.
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuade.
Tighnari made a good point earlier. He said there has to be more to your plan than this, and I agree. All you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of a sense of guilt. Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba.
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious.
I won't forsake my professor. Nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face.
That works. Then I'll be waiting. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants to say to Cyrus.
Are you sure about negotiating?
I need to think this through.
All right, well,
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had to guess, he's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing.
So that's one thing. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. My own memories of this place are hazy, though. I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now, the power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if the will and might of Herman...
you're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way.
No. I have no intention of returning it. So I will challenge them head on, and win the right to wield this power for myself.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally founded by the ruling elite of the day. Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance. I think we could turn that to our advantage. Go back to them with a proposal of our own.
Wow, and just like that we...
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can.
Great. And I know just how...
Take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Sethos, let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here.
only one way to find out.
Follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't want to disturb him.
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by... Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with patient...
Yeah. I've known for a long time.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. So tell me how we can end this on your terms.
Yeah, there's no time to waste.
You know, the two of you are actually...
Right. And you didn't create this situation. They did.
You're right. We both look at this. I accept, Cyno. This all began because of Hermanubis. So let's end it with the rite he himself created. Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with that group of supporters.
Sounds very fitting. I'm in.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep. So I will permit you to participate in this rite.
3 against 3.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights to win. And Cyno, letting Cyrus leave with one of the...
None needed. We're on the same page. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release Cyrus. If you win, I'll return my power to you.
It's a deal. Then let's meet at the ceremonial...
Take it easy.
I'm really looking forward to this rite of not just for the sake of the grandfather.
Ready to do my
I'm really looking not just for the sake of grandfather.
Let's go get ourselves some answers.
Well, after how that went, there's definitely no turning back now.
There never was. Turning back hasn't been an option for me.
You have to win. You need this power. Both as General...
Yeah, that's right. Besides, it stayed with you ever since you were a small child. Surely that's a sign it thinks of you as its rightful owner.
Both as Yeah. When you put it that way.
Exactly.
The Traveler and I...
And neither shall I. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that for a variety of reasons... But there must be personal factors at work here too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he lets on. And I don't think that Zethos is any kind of villain. To...
Take it easy.
gather on this day to perform. This is our most sacred of representing the temple.
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather.
Representing the Academia, the Challengers.
Ready.
Warriors, take your position. We come not to debate what brings our challengers here. No.
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. She's very strong. Sending her out first will definitely intimidate the opposing side.
Okay, then you're second.
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with her, or Paimon will make you
A little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Propagate!
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite the duelists of the second bout to please step forward. When you're both ready, you may begin.
Let's begin.
Watch out!
I hear everything!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Can't see? I'll uproot you!
Thus ends the second bout.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. When you're both ready.
I am Setha. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Desh. We earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis' wisdom and power, longing to see his spirit. Now, I will fight to become the...
I am Cyno. And you. I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel. And
Everyone. Old. My grandfather is a but our faith has held us. Times have changed. Then I thought of you. Each Ba fragment of her. I once thought.
I am more than just a war.
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us. So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more than my faith. Bring it on!
That's all you've got? What happened is searching for your answer.
fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tule-Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tule-Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tule-Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule-Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tule-Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
you okay?
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos.
I know.
I guess you were prepared for this. It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah, he's been on death's door for a very long time now. I think it was only through sheer willpower that he managed to hold on to this point. At least, he was able to see...
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes. The Temple of Silence should submit to whoever possesses the large...
But that's never going to work. As I'm sure you realize, I did foresee this possibility and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know next to nothing about the staff, Sethos. Were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had... I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the final result.
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, Sethos, I would like you...
But doesn't that render everything that we've been through up to now?
No, it doesn't. That's a much bigger deal than you might think.
I will try.
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from that way. Had you won, the Temple of Silence would have doubled, and were I to win, he knew that the Temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of Hermanubis, but the support of the Academia. His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding him, they would have an easier time interacting with the Academia.
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these trivial details. You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. We had to find a way to mend our relationship with the Academia. Thank you for everything, Cyno. The Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization. More than any other organization in existence today. But you must be exceedingly careful with your... By the way, Tainari, my grandfather was so happy to see you. You are a descendant of the Veluca Shuna. The story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis from among the Tainarians and appointed him as his familiar. He went on to fight many valiant battles with his Tainarian companions. They always stood by each other, from the founding of the Temple of Silence to the fall of Tuletula. The Tainarians who left Tuletula joined their human counterparts in the rainforest. A few centuries later, when some of the group returned to the desert, many of the Tainarians chose to stay and put down roots in the rainforest. In all likelihood, those were your ancestors.
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tainarians, but I never knew that my forebears had such a history with the Temple of Silence.
I like this story.
By the way, has anyone seen Cyrus?
Yes, Cyrus. You'll probably find him in my grandfather's room.
If it's true that you and your grandfather really planned for everything to turn out this way, then I guess he didn't really resent Cyrus as much as he appeared to.
Who knows? Perhaps all of us.
Someone's got to make the decision, so I will make a detailed report on all of this to I'm sure you'll have lots to attend if we're going to work together.
I will. All right, well...
See you soon. Come hang out with us, and...
Grandfather, from this day on...
Take it easy. Take it easy. This blind... Take it easy.
What were you thinking, gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if you take the bucket, hmm? You told not a soul what you were up to, designated nobody—
Oh, please, will you stop your yelling? What other choice did I have?
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to tell me that after all your years of learning, and sagehood no less, the only idea you could conjure up in that white, one-man suicide mission, hmm? That's the best idea that one of the finest minds of a generation could come up with, is it? It astounds me that you survived the journey, and you're lucky that Ba Moon didn't finish you off when you arrived.
All right, all right. Honestly, the way you're going...
I've got nothing more to say.
What do you mean, bag? Okay, look.
1 month? Try 3.
Inari's master is really laying into Cyrus.
Professor brought this on himself. Don't pay any attention to him.
Wow, I haven't seen Master get this riled up in a long time. The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been back when I was still a student.
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation's resolved. We can go for dinner afterwards.
Makes sense. I'm in.
Hyman's coming too. Let's...
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days?
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? That goes for you as well. Yes, and you too. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have made sense to involve me? And let's not forget, I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Now would not be a good time to attempt to argue with Farazan.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved. Do I make myself clear? Because if you don't,
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. Say, Madame Farazan, I can see you're pretty— Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course—
Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out
Kale! Cup.
Huh? What? Oh! What do you mean, cup? Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tighnari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a family tradition now.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. 2 people left. Let's bring them along, too. Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh and Alhaitham engaged in diligent studying?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used. Look, there's a whole mountain of them.
There's no rush. Nobody reads these books anyway. My sincere thanks to you both.
Yes, with your help, we resolved the issue rather swiftly and painlessly.
I see. The Temple of Silence resorted to rather unique means of self-preservation.
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole load of ancient documents as well.
That day will come. The Temple of Silence is a hugely important organization, and we'll be sure to maintain now as a token of my appreciation.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great. Although after the last few days, I don't know.
Sure.
And then the Traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked. Then there was Tainari. He put up an amazing fight too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts. Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but...
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail, but it has livened up the room all the same.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this. Then
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified.
Of course. Being dignified comes with...
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much.
Yeah, huge place. It felt like something right out of an epic poem. Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home? We should probably finish putting all those books back.
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes. So, I gotta dash too.
Kali's come a long way. She's much more confident.
Everyone's a work in progress. You never stop learning.
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's finally wrapped up now. Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job well done. And also, those desserts...
Do you 3 have anything planned for the rest of the day? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now.
Okay. I think I can guess what you're talking about.
Well, now Paimon's curious!
Been a while since I last made my way up here. Need any help? As you wish.
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up, we can see for miles!
Traveler, turn around. This is my secret base. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time. Just to clear... Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Sethos was asking. Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world.
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno accidentally dropped a fruit. Luckily...
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my fingers again.
Those were good times.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Cyno doing something like that, but for some strange reason...
Then make it... There's somebody there. It's Professor Cyrus. You guys carry on without me.
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed to jump down! Be careful!
Oh, my days.
Professor, what are you muttering to yourself about?
Cyno. Just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I found?
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the Sage's office. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. Oh, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this picture.
You look quite young yourself in that. Ah, it's this one. I remember that.
Yep. Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found...
And this one. Looks like we're both...
Oh, cheeky girl. Taking secret photos of us without our knowledge.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like, these are good... hey, at moments like this, I hardly know... I can't pretend I'm a good person. Bamoon had every reason to despise me.
Don't be ridiculous.
Is that not... Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Oh, it was... You've matured so much over the years, Cyno.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the non-answers you just gave. So...
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought he... Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again. Just how many did she take?
Look how cute you were when you were little.
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the deadpan jokes, and now you're besting me at those little quips too.
Don't say that.
Hey, what would you say? All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition. I have got to beat Zaha Hadi.
Or you could find a real hobby, Professor. Great view today. This atmosphere...
Time has passed, but it turns out... Oh, that...